Hello and welcome back to ParanormalNL Podcast, located in Newfoundland and Labrador, Canada. That's PNL Podcast for short. I'm your host and founder, Jen Noseworthy. Thanks for tuning in to UPRN, United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM in New Orleans and 105.3 FM on that Gulf. For tonight's Memorial Day long weekend special on UPRN segment number 29, I've got two special guests, USA veterans tonight, waiting backstage from Texas, who I'll bring on shortly. Now, for those guests listening in from the USA, again, it's Memorial Day coming up this long weekend. This episode is dedicated to honoring all fallen, active, and retired military personnel. And thank you again for your service to all active, retired, and fallen. Let's raise our glasses and honor them. Now let's get ready for tonight. ParanormalNL Podcast is sponsored by the BOG team. It's a boots on the ground BOG team doing historical paranormal investigations in Newfoundland and Labrador, Canada. PNL Podcast believes in supporting international paranormal networking and highlighting global paranormal people, places, and things all over the world. Now, you can follow PNL Podcast and the BOG team on their link tree at ParanormalNL Podcast. Let's bring on to the stage our special guest tonight. We've got Brandon Lee and we've got Greg Stephens. Welcome.
Good to be back.
Yes, thanks for being back on the show, y'all.
Yeah. Good to be here.
Good to see y'all. I've got on my Texas hat homage for y'all. I used to live in Texas for about 20 odd years. I miss it. But yeah, you guys were on ParanormalNL Podcast Season 2, Episode 142, and our first UPRN segment with PNL, segment number 1. So welcome back.
Good to be back.
So I have to say congratulations. And thank you for your service to both of you. And congratulations to Brandon on his upcoming being taken off the market, hey?
This Friday,
he's done for.
He's done for. So do you guys wear your special dress uniform for your wedding?
So we're doing just a formal JOP, Justice of the Peace wedding this Friday. Our goal is to get married hopefully this Halloween.
Okay.
Kind of like a masquerade Victorian something.
Gotcha. Yeah, my brother used to be in the Navy with Canada, and they had all their swords and regalia and all that stuff with his wedding. But tell the listeners who haven't heard segment 1 all about you guys. You're with RIP, Research and Investigations of the Paranormal. You want to tell everybody about what you guys do?
Absolutely. We are.
Go ahead, Brandon, because I'm getting some bad static.
Oh, you're good. We started back in 2008. We're faith-based. Before we go in, we pray when we leave. We started off with a paranormal team right around like 2006, and we were with them for about a year and a half, and then we eventually branched off from them and created our own team and been rocking and rolling ever since.
Awesome. Love it. So you're mainly based out of Texas, and I've got a picture of Rip and to y'all here. Mm-hmm. Do you want to talk a little bit more about how it all began?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can tell you a little bit real quick. I can hear you right now. So I've been doing this ever since I was a little bitty kid. I used to see things and talk to stuff that nobody else could see and everything else for forever. And I was off and on doing that throughout my life. And then about toward the end of my military career, I really started getting into it to do actual ghost huntings with teams and stuff like that. Before that, I always did everything by myself. And I used to chase Indian spirits along the Brazos River Valley in the middle of the night when I was like 15, 16, 17 years old and stuff like that. And then, but I've always done it, and I've always had this with me my whole life. And then once Brandon about 14, I started bringing Brandon out on investigations and stuff like that. And that's how we started our actually doing our own team deal, having Brandon along and a few other people, and getting away from the team that we started out with, who only wanted to be on TV and become famous. And that's not what I'm about. And Brandon shares that same philosophy with me, even though he would love to be on TV, but he's got the face for it. I don't anyway. So, yeah. And my,
I think he's gone in the no man's land there, Brandon. You want to pick up there for him?
Yeah, the team that we were with, that was kind of their end game, was trying to get on TV. Us, we were solely in it just because the thrill of the investigation. Like, you never know when you're walking in what you're gonna wind up getting into. It's just the thrill of that, like not knowing what's gonna happen.
Right. Yeah. The thrill of the chase, shall we say. But what got you into it, Brandon? Do you want to share what got you into the paranormal?
So when the ghost hunting TV show started coming out, and this was right before we started off with the other team, I was always curious, like, do ghosts actually really do exist or not? And one day I was like, Dad, can I go on a ghost hunt with you? He's like, yeah, absolutely. So sure enough, my very first investigation, what got me hooked was a personal experience that I had. We were all down in the obituary mortuary area doing a spirit box session, and everybody's out in front of me. I'm kind of like in the corner by myself, and I have everybody in my sights. There's nobody around me, nothing. And the next thing I feel is 1, 2, 3, and my head gets pulled.
Oh.
Immediately, there's nobody there. I felt immediately cold, and I'm like, okay, I think spirits do exist.
Yeah, I think until somebody actually, if you're a skeptic and you want to go have an experience because you want to know, like you said, is it real? Are they out there? And it seems like it's really hard to believe it until you actually have your own physical experience.
And that's what I tell everybody, is you're never going to really believe in it until you experience it. That's what I tell everybody that comes to our tables or come to our investigations, whether it be haunted haunts and legends that we do twice a year for Jefferson, Texas, and the one time a year in Granbury when we do spooky spectacle, stuff like that. I tell them every time, you'll never believe in it until you experience it. And I just love it when I have a skeptic who's that's a part of the investigation themselves, and their mouths just drop.
Right. Is there certain investigations that stick out in your mind that you've done?
Oh yes, the old Lavaca County Jail in Hallettsville, Texas, by far the craziest experience I ever saw. We were down in the jail cell area, on the downstairs floor.
Right.
Dad made a joke because one of the spirits, I believe his name was Greg as well, had hung himself in the jail cell. And he made a joke like, "Hey, Greg, you hanging in there?"
Oh, gosh. I found that's interesting that spirits can have a bit of comedy with them, especially in some of the EVPs and stuff that you catch.
Absolutely. Sorry. If you hear friendly growls or barks, I have a dog. Just saying.
Okay. No, it's all right. You can bring your dog on the show. We've had lots of pets on the show.
Oh, speaking of the devil, here she comes.
Okay.
But
there she is.
Yep.
Does she ever let you know about different spirits maybe you've brought home from attachments or something going on in your house? Or do you ever bring her with you?
I bring her with me, but she stays in the hotel.
Okay.
But I think she knows when there's somebody around, because I'll get the feeling that I'm kind of being watched, or whatever's attached to me, because I do have something that's attached to me.
Tell me about that. Like, what happened with that, Greg?
I think what happened was when I was 16, I had such a really bad experience where I thought I was Zach Bagans, and I would go around and provoke spirits.
Oh no, that's like the worst thing you could do, right?
But you know what? I'm 16. I'm in high school. I don't care. Let the ghost come out at me. What's the famous?
Right? Yeah, you thought you were kind of invincible at that age.
Oh, was I wrong? Let me tell you. I said, how about you stop messing with these kids? How about you come and mess with me? So that's an inviting word. That's an invitation for a spirit.
Oh, no.
Of course, I had to do it to a low-level demon.
That demon?
Yep. And when I was 14, but it kind of hung around the house for a couple of years. But one night, or one time, there's about 3 months of my life I don't remember. And one night I just remember not being able to move, like sleep paralysis. Mice, it sounded like mice were on the walls scratching. I thought I heard Latin. So I closed my eyes and I just tried to pray and pray and pray and pray. And sure enough, I prayed hard enough and I was able to get it off me. And I went and slept in my parents' room at 16 years old. Who does that, right?
Wow.
What I think is attached to me isn't necessarily that same spirit, but probably someone of my family members, or maybe even just my guardian angel. But without fail, every place that I have lived in since I've had that experience, I'll see movement in my peripheral vision, or I'll hear voices. I'll feel like I heard my name being called and stuff like that. But it's never been malicious, like with that one.
Kind of hanging out.
So how we got rid of that was one day, that next week, my dad had came home and he handed me the Bible. He said, okay, we're going to go around, we're going to pray. I thought I said okay, but apparently I said, I ain't doing that crap.
Uh-oh.
I don't remember saying that. I thought I said something completely different. But sure enough, we were reading from Revelations 2010 and walking around the whole house, saging, and I'm reading from the Bible, and I can just feel this weight being lifted off my shoulders.
And prayer does help, no matter what people say. Some people think, oh, that's just a load of malarkey or whatever. But no, it does. I mean, that's a prime example right there. Like, how did you feel after you used it for protection?
Oh, I always said that I always have the God in my heart. That's my armor. I don't need like cross or St. Michael's necklaces and whatnot. Though they help, but as long as you're strong in your faith, you have rock steady faith, you feel like you can take on the world. But I always tell people whenever they're come into our investigations, or they're doing the round robin at like HHL, I tell them, don't use any inviting words. Okay, don't say come use my energy. Don't say how.
Right. Yeah, that's an important one.
You don't want to say those things because they will take you up on it, but you have no idea what exactly you're dealing with.
Exactly. You don't know what you're going to invite in. Now, with yourself being a veteran, I know that we were talking about prayer and whatnot. Do you find that, I know a lot of folks use that, right? Do you find that helps, like you said, even more? Like when you were on different tours and things that you were on, did a lot of people use prayer also?
I did one tour in Afghanistan.
There's Greg. Welcome back. I think you got in a loophole there on the highway.
I did one tour in Afghanistan. I surrounded myself with a bunch of my like-minded veterans and soldiers that we would sit underneath one of the bomb shelters and just talk about God and pray about it, about whatever we were feeling at that day. And I really do, like, if you even just talking about God, you just feel like peace.
Yeah, it kind of lifts you up a little bit. Go
ahead. Sorry.
While you were on tour, did you have any other like strange or odd things happen to you, or any of your other buddies have some weird stuff go on?
They were very curious about what I did. I didn't necessarily personally see anything in Afghanistan like that because it was such a big place, and of course, when I'm there, I wasn't really necessarily trying to ghost hunt at that time.
Right. They say sometimes, people who are come close to having certain things happen to them, they're more susceptible to seeing the other side. shall we say. Do you find many people talk about that aspect of it?
Me personally, I have not, but I think Dad, you have.
What was the question?
Do you ever find, I guess if you've been close to that side, shall we say, close to death, a near-death experience is what I guess I'm trying to say, or do you find that you get to see more, or it kind of looks back at you more?
Oh yeah, definitely. It'll definitely open your eyes. If you got bullets going over your head or somebody's trying to blow you up, it'll definitely open your eyes about your whole life and looking back and the way forward as well. Me, I always went forward with it. You know what I mean? Especially with the spiritual background I have through growing up through church and then just chasing spirits and stuff, knowing that they're out there, that I know that there's life on the other, after this,
Right.
Just my faith in Jesus Christ proves that. So yeah. And I try to, let people know that as well, especially overseas or, when you're in the field training, it's no big deal because you're in the States and you're out in the back 40, and we call the back 40 training for 3 or 4 weeks or whatever. But once you go down range and your immortality comes into play in the question and stuff, because, especially when you're young, you don't think nothing's ever going to happen to you. But first time you see something and something happens to you, all that's out the window. You got to focus on your mission, and I focus on mission, God, and my family through all that. So yeah,
that's a real. I was going to say that's a real important thing to do. Mission, God, and family. So I guess one of the hardest parts about being deployed is coming home. Did y'all find it really hard when you came home?
I kept looking for my M4 when I got home. Turned it into the armory, and then I'm walking out my barracks room, and I'm walking down to my car, and I'm like, wait, where's my M4?
Yeah, because you're so used to having that on your side, right?
Oh yeah. I'm waking up looking for my weapon, forgetting that I'm home now. Going, oh my God.
Yes.
Yep, I'll do it.
But do you want to talk a little bit about what you guys do for some charity, some of the events that you do?
Yeah,
go ahead, Brent.
So we do we try to do it annually. Unfortunately, we weren't able to do it last year, and I think we're going to try really hard to do it this year. We always do a charity ghost hunt for 22 a day veteran and first responder suicide awareness. It's because it's absolutely near and dear to mine and my dad's heart. Both of us have lost, unfortunately, I've lost friends to suicide in the military. But we want to help raise awareness for it, and that's what the whole charity event is about. Is we honor our fallen, we honor our brothers and sisters who unfortunately lost their battle to suicide. Raise that awareness, and we always give the money to the charity. I think what was the last one that we did, and we gave folds of flags.
Oh no! Oh my gosh, I've done so many. Battle Forged, I think.
Yes,
Battle
that's
Forged.
it.
Yeah, that one. Yep. But yeah, because we have a platform to where we can use that platform to help give back to the communities, to keep serving in one way or another. Maintaining our good order and discipline, if you will, to just to keep paying it forward, because we got to come home. We got to come home, and I don't have the demons that a lot of people have. Not saying that I don't have my own little issues and stuff like that, and I compartmentalize a lot of it. But at the same time, I also rely heavily on my faith, and that's why I try to instill with Brandon. Because Brandon will tell you too. I mean, he came back from Afghanistan a little rattled and stuff like that, and so it was my job as a father and a mentor to try to keep pushing God and keep God in his heart and everything else, because we all have those moments where we have our questions, and
And that's what this
somebody
weekend's all
there
about, to pay it forward and say thank you to everybody, and thank you to the both of you again for your service. And yeah, unfortunately, there are a lot of people who find it difficult. And like you'd mentioned before, it's not just the military; it's first responders. I mean, anybody could have this problem. So it's a really good thing that you do to help people.
Right. Absolutely. I remember the last one we did, Brandon. It was with John Hosey, Chaplain John Hosey, in his Reboot to Recovery program.
Reboot to Recovery
program. Reboot to Recovery, for the church that he was assistant chaplain and stuff like that. Not Open Door. That's where we used to go. But one of the local churches here in Granbury, and the program is phenomenal. They met every Tuesday. I think they still got it going on. I think they renamed it and stuff, but it's good for first responders, military, and just people in general that really needs it. And it's a great thing. We raised a pretty good amount of cash for them on that one, so was pretty proud of that one.
Yeah, I mean, thank you so much again for what you do for that.
Yeah, and Chaplain Hosey, the guy that runs it, is a good friend of mine. He was also 82nd Airborne, right, Brandon?
All the way.
Jump master. Yeah, he's a jump master. He got wounded twice. Wounded twice and went through extensive surgeries, multiple surgeries. And that dude is still rocking and rolling and moving and grooving and serving the Lord. And now he's the Hood County Sheriff's Department chaplain. So he's out there responding to those really bad calls for families and stuff like that. And he's a pretty amazing guy.
That's awesome that y'all do that. I think I have one pulled up here, Historic Jefferson Ghost Walk Tour. Is this another one that you do?
No, that's for Jody Helen Breckenridge. That's the lady that runs the History, Haunts, and Legends every first weekend in April and first weekend in November. She's amazing. She's pretty awesome. But that's how we get our name and recognition out there, because we'll have a table out there and everybody comes by, and if we got something set up during after that time for like some charity event, we push that real hard and get people from all over come in. I mean, I've had people from Indiana, Washington State, all over, Massachusetts, everybody
all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you have any favorite places that y'all went and did some investigations? I know before we talked about the one with the flashlight investigation that you did.
I'll let you pick one, Brandon, and I'll bring to the other one.
Yep, I would have to say still to this day, the experience that I had at the Olavaca County Jail, that was just fantastic. And every time we go to that jail, we always get something. Like it's basically guaranteed you're going to get something when you go into that jail.
Is there a favorite part of the jail that you tell people to go to and try out, or different methods that you think?
Go down to the first floor, back right, first cell, make a joke about hanging in there, and you'll see a white eyes and white smile just appear in between the jail cell bars.
Wow.
That experience
alone was creepy, right?
Yeah, because a guy that murdered his wife at the hospital, she was a nurse, and then they arrested him, and he's well known in the local area. Not a bad guy, but something happened really bad, and he murdered her, and he got to the jail, and a day or two later he hung himself in the jail. So
wow.
Yeah.
I've got a picture of the other one that you did an investigation with Jesse James, was it?
Oh yeah, that's here in Granbury. Yep,
yeah,
that's the cemetery. That's 4 plots over from my mom and dad and my little brother. So I go there a lot. I always say hello every time I'll go over there. But yeah, that's pretty cool, wasn't it? On the Jesse James thing.
He knows you pretty well. So he responded with the flashlight for you?
Oh, yeah. He was spot on. He answered a lot of questions. I got it on Facebook or our website. So,
yeah, folks, you'll have to check that out. You guys, Brandon, you want to talk a little bit where to find y'all on Facebook?
Yep. If you just type in research and investigation of the paranormal on Facebook, we got a big red Texas, and it'll say RIP. You go and like us on there, and we're also on Instagram as well. The same name, research and investigation of the paranormal. We're trying our best to come up with something about maybe having a YouTube channel.
Okay, that'd be fun.
But
what kind of stuff
on the
would
Facebook,
you...
on the Facebook,
yeah.
I'm sorry, on the Facebook. Well, it's facebook.com/TexasRip.org. That's how you can find us on Facebook. Also, we're on x.com forward Texas Rip Army.
Texas Rip Army.
Texas Rip Army.
Hey, well, I am so sorry that I butchered.
Well, I just got the new ones printed.
It's social media fun, right? So many different places to paste stuff. It's mind-boggling. But what were y'all thinking about doing on YouTube?
Just coming up with a way to kind of make our own version of us setting up, doing the investigation, and actually revealing the evidence that we capture.
Okay. Do you ever have a lot of other veterans reach out to you guys and want to go with you, or tell you about a good place to go?
All the time.
I had a couple of buddies of mine when I first started. When I first got to the Army, a couple of them reached out to me about a couple of pretty cool places in North Carolina. Unfortunately, never had the opportunity to go and check them out. They were mostly abandoned houses, but other than that, I hadn't really had anybody reach out to me. My corrections and security jobs that I've done in the past, I've had a couple of them reach out to me and say, "Hey, you need to go check out the Texas Chainsaw Massacre House. You drive by it every day."
Okay, that was going to be my next question. For folks visiting in Texas, where are some good hot spots that you recommend besides the ones you just mentioned?
What is it? Motley County Jail in Matador, Texas.
That's way up near the Panhandle. You can also go to the USS Lexington down in Corpus Christi.
I love the Blue Ghost, right? Mm-hmm. What were you going to say, Greg? You just had what now? Oh, I think he froze.
I think he froze out.
No, bad reception.
Yeah, there's the USS Lexington. There's Yorktown Hospital, the famous Yorktown Hospital. That one was a good one. Where else? There's a couple of other great ones.
Did you go to the Lex? What kind of evidence did you get on that?
What's that? Did
you go to the Lex together?
Yes, we did. They went to it first. The first time they got to the USS Lexington, I was in Afghanistan.
Okay.
When I got back from the Lexington, or not the Lexington, from the Army, and I was and now I'm in the National Guard.
Okay, well, congratulations on that.
Thank you. I was actually able to go to the USS Lexington, and that was a pretty cool experience. We had we went into soldier mode.
Did you?
All right, you Navy guys, let's form up, fall in. And I'm feeling cold breeze just going right past me, and I saw shadows from the corner of my eye, people were running down to fall into formation.
Wow. So do you find that here's Greg, he's back again. I think you got lost in the Texas Triangle again there, Greg.
Yeah, the connectivity here is bad. We had bad storms roll through here earlier today. So I don't know if that's still affecting it or not. So
Brandon was telling us about the Lex and some of the activity y'all got there.
Oh yeah, that's so awesome. Did he tell you that they gave us the whole run of the ship? It's just like, yeah, we'll see. Just make sure the bottom gate is locked up when y'all leave. We had the whole ship to ourselves.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it. What else did you do
Yeah.
on the Lex?
I don't know what Brandon said. So
Talked about that we saw on the footsteps. Like,
yeah. Well, they also did they filmed part of Pearl Harbor on the ship. The movie Pearl Harbor. I can't talk. On the ship.
Did they really? I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, they sure did. And toward the back in one section, toward the back end of the ship. I don't know. I'm not a Navy guy. I don't know what they call them, but there was a big scene and stuff right there. So I was over there and I started talking mad smack about Navy people versus Army people and stuff like that. And
I bet that pulled it out the ghost.
well, we got an EVP that started is laughing at us, going, "This guy."
Really?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
And
at one other plot, there's two Lexingtons, right? There's two blue ghosts. So the first one was sunk, and then they built this one quick, fast, and in a hurry. I mean, within less than a year, and it was back out there. But it was hit by a kamikaze pilot also, and at one point we got an EVP of a Japanese.
Oh wow.
Yeah, on there too. So that was trippy.
Did y'all ever get on the Big E before they decommissioned her?
On the what?
The Big E. That's another ship.
Oh, I want to get on the battleship Texas. They just refurbished her and got her back on the port.
Did they?
I want to do that one. I mean, yeah, they just did a whole refurbishing of her, and now she's back and back in business as a museum.
Have y'all done any investigations over in Virginia, like over in the harbor, or any hot spots over there?
No, but I want to so bad because I'm such a big Civil War buff.
Yeah, there's a lot of Civil War stuff there for sure.
Absolutely. So it's on the list, that's for sure.
Definitely on my bucket list too, to get to Gettysburg and check out Gettysburg.
Right. But
there's a lot of activity there. You know what they say about, when something happens, it seems like it kind of goes into all the different things around there, the wood and the stone and everything.
Oh, yeah, it leaves an impression on it and get a lot of residual and stuff like that. But, but there's also a lot of intelligence stuff around there, too, and I've seen some of that, and that's pretty wild. So,
that can be pretty mind-boggling when it's intelligent.
Yeah.
What kind of intelligent stuff did you get?
Out there? Oh, I haven't got to do it, but I've seen it on other people's stuff and everything. So, but
there's a statue I got pulled up of your dad there, Brandon. Is that in Texas?
Yep, that's General Granberry in
Granberry.
Okay, tell us a little bit about General Granberry. Do you know much about him?
Yeah, General Hiram B. Granberry was originally out of Waco, and he was part of Hood's Texans, the Hood's Cavalry Brigade, and he was killed in action in the Battle of Franklin, Tennessee, in 1863. But he was only 30-something years old, and he was a general, but I think he was a lawyer or something like that. But
do you ever get any hits from him, like EVPs or anything like that?
You know what? It's kind of weird. Go ahead, Brandon. I thought you said something.
Oh, I didn't say anything.
I haven't really got any. I got some K2 activity and stuff like that, but I haven't got any audio responses or anything like that yet, but I'm still trying.
You never know. He might show up if you keep talking about him.
Absolutely. Now, his wife, they got his wife's grave and grave marker next to him, but his wife's not there. Oh. She actually passed away in Alabama somewhere, and they don't know where they buried her.
Okay. Interesting.
And it says it on there. But yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of
R&B
surprising
good,
when you look around your own neighborhood and hometown. You don't realize like how many monuments and different things that there are there that you can investigate.
right.
You know?
Do you know who Davy Crockett is, right? And you
Right.
obviously know
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Everybody else, right? Well, his family moved here to Granbury
Oh,
after the state of Texas granted Davy Crockett's wife, all of a sudden I lost her name.
but he
Anyway,
granted her wife something?
a lot of property and money and stuff like that after he was killed, and we become a little country and then become a state. But and they all settled here in Granbury. Elizabeth Crockett, that's Elizabeth Crockett, and she's buried right down probably about 15 miles from here in Acton, which is still Granbury, but it's called Acton. And
Okay.
she has a huge monument right there, and it
Does she?
used to be designated as the smallest state park in the state of Texas. And but where Jesse James is at and where my parents are at, which is just right down the block from where I'm at right now,
Right.
is Davy Crockett's rest of his family, his grandson Ashley Crockett.
Oh,
And I'm actually sitting right in front of his house he had back in the day. So
that's kind of spooky, right?
Yeah, that is his house, Ashley
Wow.
Crockett's house.
There it is. Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So, right. But his whole family there, and it's a really big plot area. And it's just right across catty corner, but across the little road there from General Granbury.
Okay. So have you ever, either one of you, been down to San Antonio and investigated down there at the Alamo or anything?
Oh, they won't let you do any of that. You got to do that stuff outside. So, yeah.
Because you can still see the bullet holes and everything, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They watch you very, very closely when you're inside.
Be interesting what would happen if you stuck like an EMF up next to it. Like, is there, how we were talking about it kind of soaks up different materials, soak it up, right?
That's exactly right. That's my plan next time I go to San Antonio, hopefully here in a few months, is to take a couple of our things that we can just do right there on the outside and use a spirit box or something to see if we can catch anything.
Right. Oh, there goes Greg again. He's in the triangle, the Texas Triangle. So, Brandon, do you have any bucket lists that you haven't investigated yet, like around Texas or different places that you want to go?
Nothing in Texas yet that I can see. But I mean, I learn a new building or a new historical landmark every time I do a paranormal event. But the biggest one that's on my bucket list, or I should say the top two on my bucket list, would be anywhere in Ireland. Would love to
Ireland? Okay.
Do a paranormal investigation in Ireland somewhere. But in the States itself, Waverly Hills Sanitarium. I would love to go there.
Waverly. Yeah, I've seen so many different shows on Waverly. That place is next level, right?
Yes, absolutely. So I think there's more spirits in that just that location alone than pretty much over half in the United States world by itself. I think there's more spirits there.
Brandon, do you have a favorite technique that you like to use when you go out investigating?
Yeah, I like to use my MAC light. And
okay. Yeah.
Believe it or not, I get some of the best responses and answers to my questions without actually getting an EVP back, or if it hits another piece of equipment that I'm wanting it to hit.
Right.
Get a lot of yes and no questions with the MAC light. But my favorite technique is when I go in there, I'm very respectful.
Yes, that's the main thing, right? Remember how you were talking about earlier and you were young and, you were kind of challenging it and stuff. But I think you know that old saying, honey, right? You get more with honey than vinegar. That's true.
Very true.
Have you got many Class A EVP types that kind of like scared you? Like, what the heck? Like you weren't expecting it kind of thing?
There was this one EVP, and for the life of me, I cannot remember what I did with it. But it was in the Langdon Center in Granbury, Texas.
Right.
And it was so Class A and it was so eerie. Like, I didn't know if it was actually AP Gordon. I know for sure it wasn't little Audrey, who was the 5-year-old little girl that passed away, unfortunately, due to smoke inhalation. But hey,
so you got a pretty good EVP from that. Have you ever used any other like old school techniques like the dowsing rods or anything like that?
we have a. Go ahead, Dad.
Yeah, we sure do. My girlfriend's daughter is very good at it, and our very good friend Susan Hill, who we gone with investigations with before and stuff. Man, I was always a skeptic on that, but after seeing Susan and Scarlett use them, I'm a believer. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I was the first too until I started using them. Some of it gets pretty wild. Like, do you ever have any special trigger objects that you use, like any military stuff that you pull from that you've tried to use that the ghosts have responded to? Like,
we do like when we're at the jails and stuff like that. We'll use like jail keys and stuff like that. And, badges. Like when we're in security and stuff like that, we use our badge and everything. Like, and it would get pretty good response, especially on the K2. That thing will hit red, like get out of
get out of here, or give me them keys.
That's right.
One of my favorite techniques to use is what we call the null sweep. And what we do with the null sweep is we basically go into the location and we have all of our equipment out and everything.
Yeah.
We don't talk to them. We just talk amongst each other, just sit down, see what we can capture. Like, just talk about, hey, how about them Cowboys? Or do you think we're going to actually do something this year or not? Well, and see if our equipment's going to be used, because then they're going to be like, what? Hi, you were here talking to me just a minute ago. Hey, I'm right here.
That is so true, Brandon. I love that. Because you know what? They totally get bored with the same questions over and over again and asking them to be a monkey. Like, can you move that? Can you do this? And, I think they get more interested in just, the normal daily life. Like you said, like, talking about this and that.
Just that picture that was just up, was that's McGarrity's, isn't it?
Yep, McGarrity's and Jefferson.
We do about, I think, was it anywhere between 5 and 7 45-minute sweeps, and an unknown number of people show up. I think we had about 200 people this last go around.
Oh wow!
You get to group 6 or you get to group 5.
That's a lot.
Activities like going down, because we're trying to like not ask them the same questions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, different ones. And that's why I said earlier, I think that they really like it when they just like listening to us and then all of a sudden they'll blurt out stuff like, what? And they're interacting with you, or they'll tell you something that you're going to do they haven't done yet, and then it happens.
Oh yeah, definitely. What's really funny on that investigation, which was April 2nd, we were setting up. We're the first ones to ever go in there and do an investigation, and that building was built in 1858.
Okay,
so it's old, and we've always felt and seen things in there, but never had an investigation. Well, Angela and Tammy was walking around, and Angela was really into tune to something in there, and I already saw a shadow figure walking in back and forth down the end of the hallway where the bathrooms are. But I usually just don't pay no attention to that. I just let it roll itself. And Angela was running with the necrophonics app on the phone, which is pretty freaking accurate, by the way. And it was calling my name, it's calling Brandon's name, which it always does, and stuff like that. But I went walking by. Me and Brandon was setting up, so we wasn't really paying attention. We're running our cords and
right.
wires and setting everything up. And I go walking by in front of Angela, and as soon as I walk by it goes, and there goes Greg.
Oh, I love that. See, that's a prime example right there. It's like interacting with you, doing like your normal stuff, right?
Right. And I go, that thing just said a full sentence. That's pretty awesome. I'm busy. I said, I'm busy. And I went walking back out the front, the side door, which we've had open for like 45 minutes.
Right.
Wide open. No issues. People going in and out of the front, there's no, a pressure that, to go through the building and close that door. It's actually kind of a heavy door. And I was going in and out of that, going to the truck and back and forth with equipment. And after I did that and I came back in, all of a sudden that door just slammed shut.
Did it?
Oh, yeah. And we got this on Facebook too. So I go, did that door just shut? They said, yes. And so I went back, opened it up, and I tried to push it. And it wasn't. You have to physically push the door shut. And
yeah, isn't that wild when stuff like that happens? Yeah.
And you can't just you can't just hit it and it just go and shuts. You have to physically push it all the way.
Push it.
Because it's pretty heavy. Yeah. So I said, ask them to do that again. I said, and film it. And so Angela and Tammy got the phone up and stuff, and I was just continuing on doing what I'm doing. And all of a sudden, I hear Tammy go, can you do that again? I got you on film this time. And there goes the door. Boom, it shuts all the way.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah,
I love it when stuff like that happens. Nice.
First thing you hear me from across the room going, did you film that? Yes, I did.
Or don't you hate it when you're setting up and like all this stuff happens, or you're breaking down and it all happens and you're oh, dude, I didn't have the camera on or something like that?
Oh, yeah. That's all the time. That's all the freaking time.
Yeah.
But Brandon, tell him what happened later on that night when Jody was there. Jody was there. It was the first week. What's first week, I think. And Jody was there. She was telling a lot of the stories and to the group that was there. And they were toward the back that was looking down the hallway where the men and women's bathrooms at. And it was pretty dark down there. And I got a camera from the other side going that way. And you can see where everybody's at and stuff like that. Jody doesn't get scared of nothing, ever. And go ahead and tell what happened next, Brand.
Yeah, we're all just sitting there, and then they're talking, and then there's just like a brief silence. I think this is what you're.
When she asked about Eloise.
Yep. And the next thing you hear is just a loud freaking bang. Come away.
Yeah, and everybody wet their pants.
Mm-hmm. And I'm looking down at the hallway at this point in time, so I didn't see anything, and there's no reason for such a loud bang to freaking happen.
It was loud.
It was so loud. Like, it was downstairs loud. Like, it wasn't anybody upstairs. Wasn't anybody on the outside slapping the building to make that.
Loud and intelligent, freaking you out, hey?
It literally sounded like someone just fell on their back.
Oh, wow.
Or kicked the door.
Yeah.
That's because they knew you're door kickers, huh?
That's right.
So did you ever see any weird like shadow figures and stuff like that?
All the time.
I see that shit all the time, but I'm sorry about that. I see that all the time.
That's no worries. But what do you think is the worst? The ones that go on the ceiling or on the wall or on the floor, or like, what do you think is the creepiest for you?
What do you think, Brandon?
When it literally looks like it's just floating on the wall and it's just going up and it's staring at you.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's good. Yeah. You see a lot of those in the cemetery, though. You see a lot of shadow runners, and they are fast. Oh, my gosh, they're fast.
My favorite ones are the ones that peek out from behind the woods and kind of like do this little number. Like taunting you, like they're close to like just doing this, like, come here.
Right.
Oh, like that. Yeah, that happened in Denton.
Yep.
Did you have many of them touch you or leave a mark on you or anything?
Oh, I've been pushed, punched, burnt, scratched, oppressed, you name it. I've had it all to me.
All the above?
All the above. I had one scratch across my abdomen, and I was dealing with a dark entity, and this was in early Texas, which is next to Brownwood, Texas. And it was a family that was going through a lot of stuff, pictures and crosses being flipped upside down and stuff like that. And it was pretty. Brandon was in Afghanistan when this went down, and I was in the kitchen. It started hitting the cabinets and moving and stuff like that. And then I just went into preacher mode and everything else. And that was a trippy night. And later on, early that morning, when we finally got done and went back and stuff, and I took my shirt off to get ready to go to bed, and there's a big freaking scratch across my belly, and
Oh my gosh.
a deep one, and I didn't even feel it. And normally those scratches last for a day or two or whatever like that.
Yeah.
This did not go away for 9 months. It was deep.
Jeez.
It was.
Did you find that you had some sort of attachment after that?
I've always got something with me.
Something
Always.
saying hello, tucking you in bed.
Yeah, pretty much.
You just gotta tell them go away, right? Leave me alone.
Well, and I don't. Yeah, a lot of times is that I don't. If I'm not acknowledging whoever it is, whatever it is, for a while and stuff, they'll slap the headboard of my bed or hit the wall or something like that, and I go, okay, sorry, I ignored you. My bad. I'll holler at you tomorrow. Leave me alone. Don't touch me and mess with me while I'm sleeping.
That happens to me when I don't podcast in a while. Like, comes in, like my computer's completely off, podcast off, everything. Nope. It'll come in, we'll be in another room, and it'll just randomly play a podcast on blast. It's like, dude, stop it. It'll turn off, right?
That happened to Brandon in his apartment, 2 years ago, right? Up in Temple, the one you and I were staying in at one time.
Yep.
You had big time.
Yeah, there's a picture, and for the life of me, I don't remember what I did with it. But I took a picture. I was in my living room, and I took a picture down the hallway.
Right.
Knew there was something in the house that I wasn't used to, because, like I was earlier in the show, I have an attachment with me. But this felt different. This felt like really heavy, super heavy. And like, I remember this feeling when I was oppressed to the point of possession. So this ain't good. I took a picture, and sure enough, blew it up. Did just like how we did with Audrey's picture.
Right.
Sure enough, it looked like a demon's face and horns coming
up.
That's right. I remember that now. Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, that's not fun.
I
guess you broke out the sage, hey?
Oh, me and his mama had to go over there and do a big, huge blessing.
It power in numbers. That's why I had them there.
That's right.
Yeah. Do you use like crystals or any other stuff like that, or?
I had a team member a few years ago that did that. Her sister did some stuff like that, and I didn't really see much change and stuff like that. But I'm not saying it didn't. But
it's all about what you believe in, though, right? Like if you're believing in prayer, then that's what's going to help you most, right? Depends on. Yeah. It's all about intent.
My experience with crystals had never been positive, so I just typically stay away from crystals.
Yeah. You were saying prayer is what your go-to, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of people do that 100%. So are there any toys or equipment that you don't have that you want to play with that you wish you had?
We got everything.
I want to get what I don't have is the newest Ovilus.
Ovilus?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the newest one. I still got Ovilus 3, and you can barely hear that stinking thing, but it's when you put it on.
What? Can you say that again? Right, turn it up.
Yeah. Not the phonetic one. What selection is it on there? I can't remember. It's like a spirit box, basically. When you're not doing the phonetic thing, that's when you get cussed at and F word and all kinds of stuff go through. But it's very, very faint, so it's not that loud. And I don't know how I can put a speaker on or anything like that. But the new Ovilus, which is quite expensive, I mean, it's got the words that you can really see clearly, and it's louder and stuff like that. But, I like to get that.
Do you like to use the night vision stuff? I find I get more orbs and stuff visible with the night viz. Like if you use just a regular camera, you can't see them. But as soon as you put the night viz on, it's like, holy shazoli, Batman, did you see all those orbs, right?
That's right. Then you got to make sure it's not dust. And I got a camera, video camera that Jeremy Jones made. And it's, oh man, what do you call it, Brandon? God dang.
Was it the full spectrum one?
No. Anyway, one light. It's got two camera and one camera's natural light and the other one's infrared.
Okay.
And so it clears out dust issues. So if it's natural anomaly or true orb, you'll see it in both lenses rather than just the night vision lens.
Right,
so
right.
This, like, occasional spirit anomalies that you don't know that's there, and you see it just glowing off in the distance and in the natural light, but not seeing it in the
because it's hard to catch stuff. They know that you're looking at them, right? If you do you set up many like X cams or static cams around to try to catch stuff?
Yes. Yep. I got standalone cameras that we've been using that I haven't used in a while, but I'm going back to it, and we've been having a lot of fun with it again. So because we've been doing so many charity hunts and stuff like that, and special events that I wasn't using the cameras because it's such a pain in the butt when you got multiple locations and everything. But since we kind of calmed down on the other stuff, then going back to regular investigations and stuff, we brought it back out and having a good time with it.
Do you find on certain like anniversaries or like, let's say, military days, like this weekend, Memorial Day weekend, do you find that activity kicks up during those times?
Yeah, if you're like at a military cemetery or something like that, absolutely. Like I told y'all last time, I think we're at the Myrtles Plantation in St. Francisville, Louisiana. We had so much activity and actual gunshot and everything else, because one of the stories that Mr. Winters was one of the owners at one time and had kids and stuff, that some dude came up on horseback and they had an argument, and then he shot him on his porch, and he went crawling back through the house, the plantation house, and went to the other end of the house, crawling, trying to get his wife, and he died on the 17th step. And it's pretty wild. We didn't know, but anyway, we had everything was happening. They were working 3 flashlights at the same time. I had like 4 figures on the porch with the SLS. I got this on Facebook too.
Awesome.
Other stuff just going on like crazy. And then all of a sudden you can hear a commotion off in the distance, and then you hear a gunshot.
Ooh.
And we're like, what? And everybody,
you're like, get down.
I'm trying to get everybody on the other side of the house and stuff like that.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. And but there was nothing going on. We didn't find anything. And so I called the police department the next morning, and they said no, they had no calls or anything like that. And
interesting.
And then I was asking the lady, I forgot her name. I'm losing my mind, I swear. She was on Ghost Adventures.
You got 2 minutes left. Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, she was there. She goes, well, you probably got the anniversary thing of
you're talking about
Patty being shot, because that was the anniversary date, and we didn't know it.
Ah, okay, yeah, that makes complete sense. Awesome. Yeah. Well, I want you guys to give a shout out now to all your fans, and again, tell everybody where they can find you.
All right, we appreciate everybody that follows us on Facebook and follows us at our events and stuff like that. We really appreciate it. Rip Army is awesome. You can find us on www.facebook.com/TexasRip.org. You can find us on x.com/TexasRipArmy.
And if you have any comments, folks, you can leave them down there in the comment section, because we're going to have a live chat for this episode here. And Brandon, you want to give a few words to your fans?
Absolutely. Love every single one of you. Make sure you stay hunting and go and like our Facebook, our Instagram, and X. And we'll keep doing what we're doing, and we appreciate you guys so much. Rip Army, you're the best.
And remember the fallen.
Yes, remember the fallen. And thank you again for all of your charity work that you do for veterans, and thank you again for your service and for this Memorial Day weekend. And we're going to leave you now with some boots on the ground music from the Bog Team. And have a great Memorial weekend, folks. Here we go. Here's some Bog Team music for you.
hunters in the fog, Newfoundland nights.